I feel like we should just do the normal intro.
Just start.
Let's do the normal intro.
Yeah.
Do it.
Welcome, nerds and nerdasses.
Good God, we're never gonna get this done.
Oh my goodness. Well, everybody's probably heard about this already in the news.
Yep.
But recently there was this thing called the Bully Hunters. And this is a group of women who are trying to prevent harassment and bullying of female gamers in online games.
So it was female gamers specifically, not just...
I believe that's the focus, at least,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
So they're trying to stop bullying by basically what happens is you're getting bullied. Maybe somebody calls you, some choice words,
Okay.
which I won't.
I was
repeat.
really
I wanted
scared
to
you
say
were
something
gonna
really
say
bad,
them.
but I
Yeah.
didn't. Okay, so whatever you're getting harassed or whatever, you call the Bully Hunters. You literally call them like the Ghostbusters. Zach made a bad joke about that.
I did.
on the last
Too bad
recording.
it got cut.
So you do that. They come into the game. They beat the person that's harassing you so badly that they want to leave the server, I guess is the idea. I don't know how.
That's
it would-
assuming that people like
would
that they're that
actually-
good that they can
Yeah,
just
exactly.
destroy
I don't know exactly how they think they're supposed to stop it by joining
Right.
the game. That's
Yeah.
to me very unclear.
Yeah. Okay.
What makes this story a little more interesting though is that it turns out the entire idea was kind of a marketing ploy that got
For what?
exposed over a live stream. They're trying to sell headphones basically.
Headphones
With the little cool Bully Hunters logo on them.
You getting bullied? Buy these headphones.
Exactly, right? I don't know. So, but
You can hear the insult even.
Okay, so what makes this interesting though, I think, is, in the wake of all the Harvey Weinstein stuff and the Me Too movement, all that garbage.
Yeah.
That's not a political statement.
Just
I think it's interesting to
okay.
have this sort of event that crystallizes all this and makes us think, how should we be treating women in online games? How should we be handling bullying as a community?
Exactly. Yeah, I think we should talk a little bit broader too. And it's, you never would think that political. If you think about it rationally, yes, it comes to video games too. But I think as a player of video games, I tend to separate the two, from politics from video games a lot of times. But it's crazy that kind of stuff is already leaking into the video game world, and we're kind of having the same conversations as the political scene in some aspects of it.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Definitely.
I saw this article about, I don't remember what game it was. It was it might have been the new Battle Mech game that came out recently. I don't really know. It's some niche game that nobody really cared about. On the gender select screen, there were more than just two options.
Is the character human, or is it some kind of alien race?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't really do much research into it. I just kind of read the headline.
Very interesting.
But that really intrigued me.
That is interesting.
Anyway.
Back to the bullying. We're going to try to not get super political, but we also have opinions about this.
You kind of have to a little bit because the topic is
the bullying in video games.
How to handle it, I think, is where it gets political.
Yeah. Of course, we can all agree that bullying is not a good thing. Right?
In an ideal world, it wouldn't happen.
Right,
Yeah.
and you should not bully other people.
Right.
Just like people shouldn't kill other people. But that kind of stuff happens. So what we're talking about is what do we think should be done about bullying in video games? We're probably going to get some flack for it.
Yeah.
Probably. That's okay.
I am ready for that, though.
That's okay. Justin
Directed
really
all
wants
towards
flack.
me.
Justin feeds off
I
of
love
it.
your hate.
So let's go down the line.
Yeah.
And Michael, why don't you start?
Oh, God. Well, okay, so
About your opinions.
Way to put him on the spot, man.
I'm sorry. So one of us has got to go first.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm more of a reactionary kind of guy. I feel like, just as a blanket statement, I feel like just people need to be better human beings. I feel like you don't need to be throwing obscenities at somebody because you
lost.
Because you're losing at a fictional video game. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you, but I also know that that's never going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I mean,
I'm an optimist, I guess.
Yeah, well, I agree that just because someone beat you at a game or something, that you shouldn't just be a nasty person to those people. But I also recognize that sometimes the people who are getting bullied is very, I think, subjective.
That's my point I'd like to make to start us all off, is the definition of bullying, I think,
because
varies based on the person.
I call Justin and Wesley and Michael all kind of terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
But we're friends, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also
That's
can
like an
do that.
unspoken agreement that
I
we
can
know we
do
can
that
do that.
online with people that I friend online that I've never seen in person, right? And you can kind of get from their vibe or whatever what is okay to say and what not. Now, I would never intentionally offend someone, right? On purpose, just offend somebody. But at the same time,
I absolutely would.
Justin would, yeah, for sure. But at the same time, there are going to be times, and I think this happens in everyone's life, where you are not trying to be offensive, but people get offended by you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that people should, besides telling people to be decent human beings, which I think people should, right? We should tell people to stop bullying. We should stop all this stuff because it's not okay to make, especially little kids, right? Or women,
Right.
Yeah.
to feel like
Or
they're,
men.
yeah, right. But I'm more specifically talking about like 12-year-old girls or something who are playing video games and just.
Those exist?
So I
sure
hear.
they do.
So I hear.
Yeah.
They all sound like squeakers to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like squeakers?
Squeaker. You haven't
You
heard
heard
this
that?
term? Derogatory
No.
term for little kids? Squeakers. They have little squeaky
Squeakers.
voices.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It sounds like a little
you guys
bathtub
are part
toy.
of the problem.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Especially when they get angry, they're
Yeah. You can't even.
you can't even understand.
That's
it because it's
bullying.
like-
Get off my show. That's it.
Oh my gosh.
You're the one that brought up the word squeaker.
That's true. That's true.
But anyway, so what we're talking about is what should be done.
Yeah.
Right? What should be done. Now, there are a lot of different options. You have people like, I almost said monster hunters, the bully hunters.
If only.
Bully
Then maybe I'd
monster.
like it.
What's the difference, really? The bully hunters who will go out and, I guess, just be better than everyone.
I don't see how that one's supposed to work, though.
I don't see how that's supposed to
And
work.
isn't that in
It's
a way
targeted
a form of
harassment.
too?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is harassment.
It's
yeah.
like beating the bully by being
Yeah.
a bully.
Right. Me and my brother did that to somebody once.
I remember you telling the story,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah. So
This
what
was
happened?
told on the show, I think. It was Halo, right?
Yeah, it was
5,
Halo. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think this was before we started doing the status.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell it again. We had this guy. Me and my brother we were playing Halo 3, I think it was. We were playing Capture the Flag, which was our favorite thing.
Yeah.
Right? My brother gets the flag and is running back to the base, and he's literally like 2 feet from the thing. And a guy on our team, because there's team damage in that game, kills him and takes the flag and runs in. Right.
Okay.
So me and my brother say, well, that's not cool. So we're gonna make this guy like just hate his life. So what we did was we
Degeneracy.
we followed him around and killed him every time he spawned until he left, and then we left
You are a bully.
and immediately joined another lobby and got him again.
Now, that's actual harassment.
That is
That's crossing
harassment.
the
Yeah,
line.
yeah. I'm
I
not
think that's a
saying
little much,
I'm
yeah.
not saying that it was okay. I'm just saying that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah,
That's what the bully hunters are doing. Is essentially they're saying, oh, you instead of killing your teammate, oh, you said this to somebody, so we're going to find you, and we will kill you. Like I mean,
I possess a very particular
Now,
set
see,
of skills.
I think that's an interesting tactic to try to solve this problem. But what I don't understand is how they're getting their information. How are they targeting people?
right. Well, it was pretty fake.
It
Right?
has to be reported. Well, yeah, that's and that's the thing. The bully hunter methodology isn't real. The
Yeah.
whole thing was faked, as far as I understand it.
Okay.
So
there's
like,
not like a number I can call right now.
In Counter-Strike, right? You have
1-800
You
bully hunter.
matchmake, so you cannot join a matchmaking game. There's no way for that bully hunter to enter that game.
Oh,
So
okay.
the whole thing
Right.
was set up from the start.
Right.
At least in that
But
game.
well, let's just talk perfect world where you
Right.
can do that, right? Let's
Yeah.
just say you can. So I don't think that's ever going to work. Just because even then, like beating someone over and over.
That's how you play the game. It's
yeah,
like,
you
who
might.
cares, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And if they're really super prideful, which I guess if they're bullying, they might be.
Yeah.
You might get them
Yeah.
to quit, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop them from bullying.
Definitely
Right,
not.
right.
It just means that.
I mean, they
they're
could
just
be
gonna
sitting there
even more
dying and
mad.
screaming at you the whole time, like
Right,
spewing
right.
insults. Like,
Yeah.
Another thing that can happen is the private businesses that own the game can start monitoring these things.
mhm.
Now, as a free speech advocate, which I am, I say that we are allowed to say whatever we want to say, as long as it's not a call to action, right? I can't run into a crowded theater and yell fire because
Right.
that is a call to action. I'm telling people to get out.
or say, gas the Jews or anything like
Right,
that.
can't say
That's
anything
clearly
like that.
not allowed, guys.
I
Come
can't
on.
say that. But I also believe that private business can do what they want to do since they're
Mhm.
private.
Yeah.
So I believe that private businesses can monitor bullying.
The
Right?
question is, what ought they do?
Right. And I don't think that there is going to be a way that you can do it without hurting the entire gaming community, right? So let's say you made some kind of algorithm, right, where you can find out either through mic or a chat or something if people are saying offensive things,
Yeah.
right? So Justin, you made a really good point about this earlier
Mhm.
when we were talking about it. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, my idea was Michael, had concerns about a particular insult, like people saying, "Oh man, you're so bad. Why don't you kill yourself?" So I
Very
thought,
nasty
well,
thing to say. Very nasty
right.
thing
So
to say.
imagine you censor that phrase, not even just the word "kill," but "kill yourself." So you over voice chat, for example, it would just blank it out if someone had actually said that to you. Now imagine you're playing a game where suicide is an advantage, say like a MOBA game like Dota 2. Sometimes you actually want to kill yourself to deny the enemy resources they get for scoring that kill on you. So maybe you're saying in text chat, "Dude, kill yourself to the neutrals so they don't get the blah, blah, blah." and it just goes blank, and the guy has no idea what you're saying. You're actively interfering with communication by trying to protect people's delicate feelings.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
honestly
afraid
think the least invasive way to do this is the way that everything already has, is reporting system. It's not perfect, but you avoid problems like that where people try to overreach.
I was going to
People
say,
have
talking
to
about
report what happens, and then it's investigated in some fashion.
what you were talking about, having the mute button and report. So you're saying there are ways to get around it.
I think that there are some ways that people can proactively fight against bullying without
Calling them
censoring
bully
everyone.
hunters.
Yeah, calling bully hunters.
My thing is like there are instances where like somebody could be severely depressed,
Right.
and like they could want to kill themselves for whatever reason, and they get on the video game and somebody tells them to kill themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have time to hit the mute button. You know, that's
So you're
the
saying
first thing out of their
proactively
mouth.
getting rid of the thing before it hurts somebody?
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's
You see the problem with
I
that,
do
though.
see the problem
It's a
with it,
slippery
but
slope.
Yeah.
but that's my point. It's really hard to like.
No, I agree. I want...
People are gonna get hurt either way, and that's
Right.
really sad.
Yeah, well, that I think, and this sounds so harsh, I think it's literally just the byproduct of how we're all connected, right? Because there are crappy people in the world, right?
Yeah.
I just think besides just blanket censorship of everything and everyone, you're not going to ever have a place that feels like someone can't just get one word in right before you can mute them, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in censoring everyone. So
I have thought about some other ways maybe you could sort of dampen that sort of impact. Like,
okay.
for example, Michael was talking earlier, especially about little kids and stuff that hear that kind of
Right.
that kind of
Which is
language.
terrible. I'm not ever saying you should.
Yeah,
You should
and I
definitely
was-
never tell somebody to kill
I was
themselves.
thinking
That's
maybe one way you could prevent that kind of stuff at the outset is maybe if you had maybe a voice chat and things like that were opt-in rather than just being something that's
that was
baseline.
a great idea. Yeah.
Like, so maybe you need to show some sort of proof of age before you can hear voice chat,
awful.
so that maybe like a little kid, because for example, Call of Duty, we all know that Call of Duty is an 18 plus game, but there are
Right.
going to be kids that play it.
Yeah.
So maybe by requiring some kind of proof of age, you could, even if the parents are going to, be careless enough to buy the game for the kid, maybe they wouldn't expose the kid to all the like foul language and, whatever bad influences
Because
they might
I mean,
hear
I think
otherwise.
that's really the main problem, right? Is that you have kids who grow up hearing all of the garbage, right? Because the internet can be just nasty.
It's a vile
normalizes
place.
it.
Right, and
It's
it's
true,
so
yeah.
normal, and so then those kids go out and they grow up and they think that is okay way to speak to someone, especially in real life, right? I would say things to internet friends that I probably would never say to people in person, just because it's it's a whole different, and if you don't play online games, believe me, it's like
Yes.
100% different.
I think a lot of the reason is like just seeing somebody online with just a name over an avatar.
Exactly,
It like
yeah.
dehumanizes it.
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
know?
feel as real.
Right.
That's honestly kind of part of my resistance to having that kind of censorship, is because as vile and as terrible as the internet and like online gaming culture is, it is its own culture, and I feel like anything you do to change that, maybe it's not something that's worth keeping around, but once it's gone, that's it. It's gone forever. It's this unique thing, this living thing, and once
I get what you're saying.
you change it,
Why,
it's,
you,
maybe
you're,
there's
you're
something
gonna
there
kill
worth
all
saving.
the good for the bad. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if you'll kill the good, but you'll definitely change it. It won't be the same thing anymore. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
So what do you think about like Hearthstone just using emotes for chat?
I think that it was, I mean, obviously it deeply diminishes
The connection.
the level of conversation you can
Right.
have. I mean, and even then it doesn't completely get rid of negativity. Like a Hearthstone, the emotes, if you don't know, there's a limited number of emotes that you can use to communicate. There's no text or voice chat whatsoever with a random opponent. But people will use the emotes in a way.
Like sarcastically.
Yeah, exactly. So like, for example, there's a lot of randomness in Hearthstone. So maybe you get super lucky with a particular effect that they don't enjoy, and rather than, say nothing, which is your only other option, because there is no negative emote, like curse you or anything like that. They'll say, well played, good game, sarcastically, to say like, just trying to give you the middle finger basically.
And then
So, I mean, even when all you can do is these preset emotes, people can still be negative. I guess you aren't hearing the words, and if like particular words trigger you that badly.
But like
maybe
that's a
better
lot
than
less
nothing.
impactful than somebody like throwing expletives at your face. You know what I mean?
Right, but it also means that you can't say like, "Oh, hey, your deck's really cool, man. Why'd you use that card instead of this one?" Like all that depth is lost. It's just gone forever.
That's true.
And Magic has an interesting way. They just star out because there's no voice chat
Yeah.
in Magic.
Yeah.
There's just text chat, and they just like put stars over curse words and stuff.
I think that's kind of stupid too. I was telling Michael
Why?
again. We were talking about this. If you ever played Dark Souls online, they use a similar system. And now, not all of these systems are created equal, obviously. But in Dark Souls, there's no filter for like certain whitelisted words, for example. So if you name your character the Dark Knight, it's going to be the Dark K *** HT because there is an expletive in the middle of the word night. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's just
That's
to
digging
me
deep.
that's
Yeah, that's a little-
that's
I feel like
intellect
that's a little
insulting to me. It's so bad. Now maybe they could fix that by whitelisting that particular word or something. But
Yeah.
wouldn't it be easier if we could all just like
Not be.
not be so sensitive? I don't know. I mean, and obviously I don't have the problems with the bullying or harassment or whatever, so I can't exactly relate. But
Yeah.
from my like bird's eye view, it's like I feel like you have all the tools you need to prevent that stuff, unless you're maybe some kind of a streamer or something who's just constantly being berated by total
That is
strangers.
true.
But
I mean, and
it's
there are
hard to
extremes
imagine
to
if
every.
somebody, yeah, right. But like
situation.
the average player is just not like waking up in the morning and seeing 1,000 messages of "I hate you,"
Yeah.
"End your
Yeah.
life."
Yeah. That
Like,
is
get off
that
the
is
earth.
true. But
Yeah.
I also don't think that makes any one person's experience less relevant. Like,
You're right, yeah.
There are definitely there are people who are too sensitive, just like there are people that actually like this actually causes a problem for them.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing to like try to put bounds around, right? But I would just say again, like report the people. Try to stay away as much as you can from people that are that trash, and try to be better. Like just
And number one, don't listen to them.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
don't,
Don't take
take
it to
anything to
heart. Like,
heart
really.
because it doesn't matter. They're
no.
just
It's honestly, especially in video game culture, like it's just a game.
yeah.
Like, and if they care that much about that to try to put you down that much, then you are so much a better person than them.
Yeah. And the Status Effect is here to tell you guys
Yeah, whatever. You guys are losers.
that we love you and you are great people.
Shut up.
I think that maybe we should take more responsibility in creating the kind of culture we want to see, and I think that game developers can do that maybe in ways that aren't as simple
as like
as mindless
censorship.
as censorship. I was thinking
I agree.
about maybe like an MMO game, right? And so many of them, there is nothing to encourage you to make real connections with other players. There's I need a group to in order to grind for X or Y or Z. But there's like, why is there not just matchmaking based on like people who you're likely to be friends with based on when you
Oh, that's
play or the
interesting.
things you're
Yeah,
interested in?
yeah.
Why doesn't every game have something
That
like
would be
that?
really
Why is there not like
cool, yeah.
Facebook integration or something? Why don't we
making more of a community?
Yeah, why don't we try and get rid
Yeah.
of the anonymity and actually create lasting bonds between people? It's going to make the games more fun to play. It's going to
And
make other games that
think
aren't even related more fun to play.
I think that inherently will make people less toxic.
Right.
I agree, because then, especially even if someone is being toxic to you, right? Well, if you have 7 people that you play with all the time, who needs that one person? Like, they're
Right.
going to be excluded
Exactly.
from every single group if they're
so
toxic.
yeah, it'll raise the standards of behavior for everybody.
I like that. a
While
lot.
making the games more fun to play. It's just an upside for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, what that requires is for these companies to do something other than the bare minimum
Right.
of, report, I'm going to use an algorithm to see
Well, I
his
still
text
think
chat.
that reporting can still be a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it should be the only.
I think we need a more holistic solution that doesn't just punish bad people, but actively encourages
That's
good
the thing.
behavior.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Because that's what this talk's been all about, right? Is us saying the ideal situation would be
Right.
people to stop being
Right,
terrible
and that's
people.
what I want.
Right.
I want the freedom to say whatever I want, but be encouraged and
To
be
be
in
a
a
decent
place
human
where
being.
I'll be a decent person.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
I
the
want.
dream.
That is the dream. And I don't think it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's impossible.
I don't think
No.
it's impossible either.
I think
just
we
it's
could
hard.
definitely swing
Yeah,
the
it is
balance
hard.
from just the negativity to the positive. I don't think you'll never get 100%, but
Yeah.
at
But
least
you
we
can
can make
raise
the
the
majority.
baseline.
Yeah,
You can increase that absolute worst experience that someone's going to have to something that's more
Right.
tolerable.
right. I think that's it, man. I think that's what we need to do. Band together, right?
Amen.
Hashtag status effect. I don't know what the hashtag.
I
should
don't
be.
know. We need like a catchphrase.
That's true.
Status solidarity or something. I don't know.
No,
we'll work
no.
on that.
We'll work on it. We'll get
we
back
need-
to it.
you know what we need to do? This is a peek behind the curtain.
Okay,
We should have like play groups with our audience
that'd be really cool.
to like help enable those friendships.
I'm gonna tell you you're
know?
bad if you're bad though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Justin.
No, I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Yeah, we
Sort of.
we'll
No,
put
it's not.
we'll work on that. You know, we'll try
That'd
to
be cool.
maybe put some
That would
put
be
some
cool.
if we can have a list maybe on the
If we
website
actually
or something.
have an audience at some point.
Well,
that
yeah,
would-
but we can put a list up on the website or on our YouTube channel of like certain times we might be playing and our gamer
Yeah.
tags for some games or something if people want to
Yeah.
hit us up, or our Steam names.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
great.
bully hunt for you guys. I'm probably better than most of the bully hunters. I think I'm a
That's true.
like a legendary eagle in Counter Strike. So if you need some help and you're getting
Nobody
picked
knows
on,
what that means, Justin.
I mean, if they're getting bully hunted,
That
maybe
one
they will.
person.
I
A
don't know.
legendary eagle. Is that what you
All
are?
right,
Yeah,
that's.
dude.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
Thank
Let's
you so
wrap it
much
up.
for
Bye-bye.
watching, and remember, stop bullying as much as you can.
Yes.
Not you specifically. Stop bullying. Stop bullying as a whole.
Yes.
Did that come across right? Did
I
get
guess.
that?
I don't know.
All right, we'll see you
Sure.
next week. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.